Somewhere right now, a wealthy parent is having a conversation with their kid that most of us were never part of it. It's not happening in a private school classroom. It's not a formal lesson. It's happening at the dinner table, in the car, on a Sunday afternoon, quiet, almost casual, and the child sitting there is absorbing something that most adults will spend their entire working lives without ever being told. What I'm about to share with you is something most people go their entire lives without ever realizing. These are rules. Actual, specific, teachable rules that wealthy family pass to their children before those children ever earn their first pound or dollar. Rules about how money moves, how it compounds, how it can be used as a tool instead of just a reward. You weren't taught these rules, neither were most of the people around you. And the gap between the families who pass them down and the one who don't is not an accident. It's the invisible infrastructure of wealth inequality. This video is those rules. All 5 of them. Section 1. The 5 rules wealthy families pass down silently. These 5 things are hidden in a plain sight, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. Rule 1. Pay yourself first, not after the bill, not with what's left at the end of the month. First, before anything else moves. Rich families teach their children that the moment money arrives, a portion belongs to their future before it belongs to anything else. Not 10% necessarily, not a magic number, but something moved automatically, immediately, non-negotiably into a place that grows. The average person pays everyone else first. Rent, subscriptions, groceries, social spending, and then, if anything remains, maybe savings, usually nothing remains. The wealthy invert this entirely. Your future self gets paid on day 1. Everyone gets paid from what's left. This one habit done consistently builds more wealth than almost any other financial decision you'll ever make. Rule 2. Never let money sit still, idly. Money in a current account is not resting. It's shrinking. Inflation is always running. The purchasing power of money that isn't growing is decreasing every single day. It sits there. Wealthy kids grow up watching their parents move money into index funds, into properties, into businesses, into assets that grow while they are asleep. The idea of leaving a large sum in a savings account earn 2% while inflation run at 3% is generally uncomfortable to someone raised with this rule. To most people, it just feels like being responsible. The rule is, every pound or dollar you own, you should have a job. If it's in cash, its job is to cover immediate expenses. If it's in anything else, its job is to grow. Money without a job is money quietly losing value. Rule 3. Understand the difference between an asset and liability. Most people think they know what this means. Almost nobody actually does. An asset puts money into your pocket, whether you work or not. A liability takes money out consistently, reliably, every month. Rich kids are taught this distinction before they are teenagers. Not in abstract term, in real one. A house you rent out is an asset. A car you financed is a liability. Shares you hold are asset. A subscription you don't use is liability. The wealthy build lives oriented towards asset. Most people guided by consumer culture and the desire of visible success build lives full of liabilities and then wonder why the money never seems to stay. Rule 4. Tax is a game and the rule are public. Nobody teaches you this in school, but the wealthy use it every single year. Every government on earth has built legal mechanisms for reducing taxable income. ISAs in the UK, Roth IRAs in the US. These aren't loopholes. They are published, legal, widely available, and almost nobody outside of wealthy families use them properly because nobody ever explains that they exist. Rich kids learn early that tax planning is not something you do once a year with an accountant. It's a year-round strategic decision where you hold your money, how you categorize your income, which accountants you use. All of it has tax implications that compound over decades into enormous difference. The same income handled differently creates meaningful different wealth outcomes over a lifetime. That's not a bug in the system. That's a feature, and it was always available to anyone who knew to look. Rule 5. Your network is financial asset. The wealthiest people in every city aren't just rich because of what they know. It's who they know and how deliberately they build it. Rich families teach their children that relationship with ambitions, financially literate people are not just social, they are strategic. The right introduction opens a deal. The right mentor changes a tragedy. The right room gets you access to opportunities that are never advertised publicly because they don't need to be. This isn't cynical. It's honest. Section 2. Why school skips financial education completely? The answer is more uncomfortable than most people expect. The honest version, curricular are built around academic outcomes, not life outcomes. Financial literacy never made the cut, but underneath that, there's something less comfortable. The economic runs on consumption, on debt, on predictable employees who spend what they earn and borrow what they can't. A population that understands asset, tax efficiency, and compounding is harder to sell to and more likely to build wealth outside the system entirely. Schools teach you to be good at a job, not good with money. Understanding that design is the first step to moving outside its limits. Section 3. How rich use these rules before age 18. By the time most people start thinking seriously about money, wealthy kids already have a decade of compounding behind them. A wealthy 16-year-old who's been taught pay yourself first since they were 12, who's had contribution going into a junior investment account since they were 14, who knows the difference between an asset and a liability before their full-time job. They are not just starting. They are not starting from zero. The 24 years old starting from scratch isn't less capable. The clock just started later, and compound interest doesn't care why. It only cares when. Section 4. What happens when you apply even one rule today? Here's what actually changes when you do this. Not one day, but today. Take one rule. Pay yourself first, starting from your next payday. Move 5% automatically into an investment account before anything else touches it. Someone earning $35,000 a year doing this moves $145 a month at a 10% average annual return. That becomes roughly around $97,000 over 25 years from just 5% of a modest income. One automatic transfer, no active decision after setup. That's not motivation, that's mathematics. Or take rule 3, assets versus liabilities. And run it once across your monthly outgoings. Mark each one. Does this put money in your pocket or take it out? You don't need to change everything immediately, but the moment you can see the map clearly, the decisions become obvious in the way they weren't before. One rule applied today. Start a compounding process that isn't just financial. Once you start moving like someone who understands how money works, you start seeing everything differently. That shift doesn't stop. Section 5. The exact rule to start with if you have nothing. If you are starting from nothing right now, no saving, no investment, no buffer. Here's the direct answer. Not eventually, right now. Here's the exact move. Skip rule 2. Skip rule 4. Skip the net worth. Start with rule 1. 10 minutes. No minimum balance. Buy 1 unit of one board index fund. Set a recurring transfer for whatever you can genuinely afford this week. £10, $20, it doesn't matter. What matters is the system starting. The money you put in on day 1 is not the point. The habit you build on day 1 is the point. A wealthy kid who learned this at 12 has a head start. That's real. It isn't fair, but it isn't permanent because these rules were never locked away. They were just never handed to you until now. If this gave you something real, this channel exists to keep doing exactly that. Drop a comment telling which rule you're applying first. You're not behind. We just started later, and later is not the same as never.